I'm excited to talk about photography and videography and all things that are exciting in our lives right now. You just purchased a house. Let's talk about it. Where's this baby
Yeah,
at?
yeah. I'd say, hey, we just purchased a house, but I don't. We're under contract, so we're not across the finish line. Still think we have some negotiating to do, and
Okay.
hopefully, what that leads to is ultimately a lot better setup when it comes to trying to record these damn videos. But no, this is super exciting. I know we've been talking about this for a long time.
I'm pumped for you, man. So, who's Scarlett Stone? Is she your agent?
Yeah, yeah, that's my agent. Scarlett actually just had a little bit of a medical emergency, and she's still working through,
Yo.
working through all the paperwork for us. So that's she's a badass for
Oh
sure.
my gosh. Dude, that's nuts. So this house looks awesome, man. I'm gonna show the viewers
Yeah,
somehow.
yeah. Make sure you get the address on there, so if anybody needs to rob me, they can just Google it.
Yeah, maybe I don't show people then. Eventually we'll have a video feed of the laptop so we can actually pull stuff
Yeah,
up.
it needs to be
But
like fucking Theo Vaughn when you're pulling up. Like, hey,
yes.
show me a picture of the house, right? And you just pop it up on the screen.
Yeah, that is we have the capability to do that. I don't have the cable to hook it up to my system right now. That is one of the next investments I'm going to make because it would have made all of our setup so much easier today. Instead of having to record with my camera, it would already be recording your face.
Yeah, I tell you what, after setting up today, I need a nice gym session to get all the anger and frustration out, or just need to hire an IT guy.
Dude, so what are you guys doing with the new place?
Yeah, so I mean, so this is actually our fourth place in Northwest Arkansas. So this is actually a home. I think that one of the goals for us was to actually buy a home and actually build a home. So we've never had a backyard in our 4.5 years of being together. So I think it's pretty cool to finally get a home with a backyard for the dog, and then actually have something to kind of build on. So ultimately, that
Amazing.
was kind of the decision. And that place is, how I think about things, Travis, is that place had more room to improve the value of the home. Um,
Mm-hmm.
a ton of space, an opportunity to add an extra bedroom, an opportunity to kind of give the kitchen and the two bathrooms a facelift. So, you know, as an investor, that's the best case scenario for us to actually add value into our future home.
I love that thought process. Walk me through more on some of the other identifying features. So you mentioned the home has equity potential. How, like when you're walking a property, what are you looking for?
Yeah, so it's a really good question. So when we first saw the property, we noticed that there was extra square footage into the house. Like, so obviously the curb appeal from the front of the house is absolutely beautiful. So front
Mm.
porch and then the backyard, like just the most phenomenal, like updated, like just incredible looking house. But when we saw the extra square footage and it was only a 3-2, it's like, hey, there's got to be room for a fourth bedroom, right? There's got to be room for another half bath or another full bath. So when we were walking the house, like we immediately noticed the house was built in 1996. It had plenty of opportunity to make it look more modern, right, in 2025. So
Mhm.
um, the main things that we look at is do you have room for an extra bed? Do you have room for an extra bath? And then is the kitchen up to date to 2025 standard? And are the bathrooms up to date 2025 standard? So though, like all those boxes were immediately checked when we walked the house, that you can improve value in each one of those little segments. And it was just like, okay, all right, we'll take it at the asking price, right? Because we know we're going to force about $100,000 in equity down the road.
Awesome. Man, I'm so excited for you. So you guys are moving into that property, assuming you close in the next 30 days. Are you going to remodel anything before you move in?
Yeah, so the goal is, so I think May 6th, I'm looking at my calendar. May 6th is the date that we're going to move into the home. Or that's the date we're going to close on it, excuse me.
Sweet.
I think the big thing for us is getting it. We don't need to since we're going to live in the home, like we don't need to do everything right away. We've got plenty of time to do that. I think we'll probably get the kitchen done because it's really hard to live through a kitchen remodel.
Yes.
We'll probably get the kitchen done and then kind of stage things as we go along. Probably fresh coat of paint. That'll take about a week. And then getting the kitchen done probably take us about 2 weeks roughly, if we want to do it the right way. And then we'll do the rest as we progress through the house, like throughout the year and the next year.
Yeah, that's really smart. I'm so thankful I did that with this house because it's
Yeah.
like you get that transition where you go back home to your condo and you don't have to live through the agony of not having an oven or not having a sink.
Yeah.
Like we just had a toilet kind of go out and we were down to one toilet for a week. And even that was like a huge pain, let alone not having a whole kitchen or a whole bathroom. I think that's a great way to work through it.
Yeah. You got to live on the George Foreman, or you got to live with the air fryer for a little bit. That's about the only way you're making a meal.
Yeah, it's a painful existence, but always worth it because what it gets you is a beautiful home.
Yeah.
What
No,
kind of
exactly.
kitchen are you going to go with?
We're not, since we just went under contract yesterday. I don't think we're there as far as design, but like when I think of it, it's like a Formica countertop, right? Just like really like cheap countertop. We'll probably flip on like a nice granite black, rough cut granite
Hmm.
countertop, and then from there we'll either replace all of the cabinets, or just paint them. They're in pretty good shape, so we'll mostly just paint the cabinets,
Yeah.
and then put new pools on them. And I think ultimately that's what will really renovate the kitchen. And then of course, everybody putting a backsplash on there, the right tile backsplash, it's really going to make it pop. And then new appliances, and then boom, there we go. We got ourselves a new kitchen.
Totally, man. When you're doing your your cost evaluation for that kitchen, dude, I'm telling you. So I just put in a full IKEA kitchen, and it was darn near the same price as just updating an existing one. It was so affordable, and it's beautiful. And
Yeah.
if you don't have like a hardcore family that's going to be doing a lot of damage to these cabinets, they should last a very, very long time.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, there's just different ways like to look at it, I think, too, Travis. And you've been through this because you've done a decent amount of investing and rebuilding homes and kind of giving them a facelift per se. I think there's different approaches. I think if you're going to live in it, right, you've got a little bit more time. You might want to put a little bit more money into it, especially
Hmm.
if you're going to
Right.
live in it for the next 3, 5, 10 years. When you're flipping a home, right, that's a totally different look, right? It's just you want to try to make sure that the costs are right and that your math is mathing as you go throughout the whole process. This one, I'm going to give it a little bit more. I think we're going to give it a little bit more love, just because we plan on being there for a decent amount of time.
Yeah, that's great, man. Well, and two, if you do decide to paint them, which you probably already have one of these, I was so impressed with the paint gun versus brush. It looked like it was out of a like brand new showroom. It was like shockingly good on one of the
Yeah.
projects I did. But that's
I would assume the wall behind you was sprayed, right? Like
yes,
it's not rolled on, and you can tell. One, the drywall work looks incredible. Now I can't see you in detail because obviously I'm on a phone, but the drywall work looks incredible. And typically, like texture will cover drywall imperfections. That's why popcorn
right,
ceilings were a really like popular thing there for a
right,
while.
right,
But if you look at like your walls, like that spray job, you're right. It is just totally different versus rolled on.
bro. So we completely redid all of the drywall. We left the majority of it, but we retextured everything to be more modern. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't think I would do it again. Because to your point, you notice like you can see little tiny imperfections. So it has to be perfect. And it was an agonizing process. And there are still spots, especially on the ceiling, because we took out popcorn and retextured it with smooth, where in certain lighting you see like these little lines that you would otherwise not see. So if I did it again, I would not do the smooth texture. And we
Yeah.
started hanging photos, and now it's like any little patchwork that we are going to have to do down the road is going to be so visible because we spray painted So now when you patchwork with a brush, it's like little things you don't really think about. Right now it looks beautiful, but if I was my future self, I might be like, man, why did you spend that money on that? It was so
Yeah,
expensive and
no,
time.
it's you're right. It's a double edged sword at the end of the day. So like, if you're, again, that's why texture is popular. We do usually do like a light orange peel texture on our properties, just because it does cover some of the imperfections. If you're going to do a completely smooth wall, you better have one badass drywaller,
Mm-hmm.
right, sheetrocker to do that work. So yeah, you can see lines on smooth walls. That's the downfall, but they do look beautiful when they're done right.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, man. Exciting. What do you got going on creatively right now? You working on anything?
Jack shit, Travis. Jack shit. Um,
Come
I
on,
think
man.
I think it's something that we were talking about earlier. Actually, it's I think when I'm doing things creatively, I'm probably at my best. It's something that I've done since I was a young kid, right? Like whether it's like creating, videos around video games, like I did, is how I got started with creative stuff when I was younger. It's something that's like lacking right now. I'd tell you, like professionally, just with a new job, like with the same company, right? Just different role. It's taken up the lion's share of my time, and then with the real estate investing at the same time, like I'm missing that creative piece. Probably the last type of creativity I had was actually when you were out here in October, and we went out and shot, the fall foliage here in Arkansas. Since then, I haven't done a damn lick of editing of even those photos. So it's there's not anything going on creatively besides this video we're doing today.
I'm glad you brought that up, man, because I did a soft run through, but I don't think I sent you any of the stuff. I have two of those photos hanging on my wall, and they're stunning. Yeah, you could probably
Which ones
guess
do you go
which
with?
two. I went with your MF and Leaf idea. That photo came out so sick on the mini Hawksbill Crag.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The real Hawksbill Crag, as some people would say.
Yeah. So it was that one where like holding a leaf on the cliff with the trees underneath. Came out beautifully. So that's hanging on my wall. And then that church that we went to, one of those where I kind of like stitched multiple photos together, came out beautifully, stunning.
Yeah. How'd the shadows turn out in that photo?
The
You
shadows.
remember it was pretty hard. Yeah, you remember it was pretty harsh lighting.
You know, it. I was able to do so much in Lightroom that it was very recoverable. But yeah, it was
Yeah.
like the time of day was tough, and that was what my big issue was with when we finally got to the full Hawksbill, the real Crag, was the lighting. Like I was unrecoverable in the blacks, so it's just like I had envisioned that photo being printed in like a 4 foot by 3 foot landscape, and put that behind my couch. But it's just, I
The
think we need
detail
to
in it.
go back and do it again. That's all my
Yeah.
takeaway is. Like, I'm not upset with, like, I think we had so much fun, dude. That trip was awesome. But my big takeaway is I need to get better at landscape. And then, two, we need to not stay up so late so that we can get good light in the morning. Or,
Yeah. Yeah. Story of my life. I think.
yeah.
I mean, we missed the time frame. We also spent a we spent a large amount of time at the wrong spot in the Hawksbill Craig. So I think that ultimately was probably the opportunity there. And all the families that were, taking pictures as well. But anyways, it was a fun trip. It's funny. The kids I'm in a group chat with on Instagram, they actually did that hike whenever Arkansas got like 9 to 12 inches of snow. And I don't know how you would have done that, Travis, because if you
Wow.
remember how that road was, like
Yeah.
there is absolutely no way that they got back there. But they went back there, got that time or got those shots at the perfect timing in the snow. So
No
like I've got to
way.
actually show you those pictures. It's something that we should actually pull up and look at because they did
Wow.
they did an incredible job.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm just trying to imagine it, man, like that perspective. I'd be nervous walking out there with ice and snow, though.
Those
That,
kids are the most lovable psychopaths I've ever met. Again, I don't one, how do you drive there, and two, how do you do that hike in that much snow? I don't know. It felt like we were back in the Colorado mountains, back in the Rockies, whenever we were doing our first little touch of photography out there. But
better road conditions out there in Colorado with the equipment versus Arkansas.
Oh man. Yeah, the road back there was quite a trip. But adds to
Yeah.
the fun. I think all of that adds to the fun. As long as no one gets injured, those trips are a blast. But man, you gotta have the right shoes with spikes or something. I don't know. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you
For
want
sure.
to
Well,
do now that it seems like you've had some time in role, and maybe I'm wrong, but maybe you're going to get some more personal time once you get this house?
yeah, yeah. I I don't know. Like I would love that. I think there's going to be a lot of work to do in the house, right? And then of course we've got the Airbnbs going. So um, hopefully the job slows down in the summer. Now I would tell you in the beverage industry that the summer is the peak time. So it's I don't know, Travis. I think it's going to be tough going into the summer. I think one thing that I'd like to start doing more is probably a little bit more of this, right? And just getting back into a groove and having a studio in the new home to be able to kind of like inspire the creativity. I think it's just such a
Mhm.
crucial part of life to have a hobby that you can kind of detach your stress from and get into a creative environment and just really have fun because life is so short, man. So I think it's super important. So a little bit more of this, and I think if I look back at all the photography I've done through the last 4 or 5 years, there are some of the best shots I've ever gotten in my life. And I remember the excitement and the joy that that brought me at the moment. But I actually still haven't spent the time in the post edit to kind of relive that joy. So I think the fun thing about you know the fun thing about artwork in general and photography is that when you go back and you capture an image that you kind of feel that same excitement and that same energy in which when you were taking the photo, right? Like you're back in that moment, and I think that's what makes photography so cool, is that you can go back, edit that photo, and feel the emotion that you felt at the moment, right? So like
Mm.
keyword moment there, but yeah, yeah,
Yes,
a little bit more of that, Trev, a little bit more of that.
I am excited for you because it has completely changed how I wake up in the morning because I'm doing it every day now and I'm blessed to be able to. And I'm excited for you to get a little taste of that because my favorite version of you is when you are being creative specifically with photography because you're so good at it, dude. Like your photos are phenomenal. If the one or two people who end up watching this want to check out your stuff, what's your Instagram handle?
It's at Kasey Demko, I think. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's
just at
Kasey and his camera.
Kasey. Oh, Kasey and his camera. Yeah, that's right. See, look, that's how bad I've been creatively. I don't even remember my socials anymore.
Yeah, it's
Damn.
Kasey and his camera. It like man, like I want, like I said, like you need to send me that photo of the cattle head because that photo is unbelievable. And you're not pursuing this with much effort at all. And so I'm like excited to see what you get to because there are levels to everything. And man, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm looking
Well,
forward to it.
I think you're like a living example of that, right? And I'm just gonna, give you a pat on the back here. Essentially, is like you left the beverage industry, you left corporate America. I think what 3 years ago now, and you've actually been able to focus on your craft. And if I remember Travis, like 6 years ago, so, I think it's 6 years. Time flies. 5 6 years is like you were on this journey of you were in corporate America. You did some creative things in your youth and kind of it was a passion of yours. And when we started hanging out, like you found that passion again and you started just very basically but you've like put a ton of time and hours into it and when you do something you do it very intentionally and you spend a lot of time honing your craft and it's been incredible to watch the progression from 5 years ago when you picked up the Sony A7 III. You're like, oh, I'm going to do video and photography. And man, it's just really moved along in a very quick timeline. And now you're creating real estate, videography, and photography. And it's like, it's at the top of the catalog, man.
Man, I remember so vividly you coming over and taking photos of that table that I had like been designing. And I just remember in that moment, I was like, I am feeling something I haven't felt since I was making films as a 13-year-old kid. And that moment changed my life, dude. I literally went and bought that camera that next week and set me on this path and this journey that ended up where I am today. And I'm still evolving, and who knows where it's going to take me in the future. But dude, I'm so thankful that, you know, God put you in my life and at that time, because we were both going through shit and, you know, found a mutual hobby that we were able to enjoy and to get out in nature. And man, I'm just so grateful.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. The term moment keeps coming to mind, and it is, there's these key moments in our lives that are turning points. Now, for, you know, that can be good and bad, right? But in this case, like, really good moment. I do remember. I remember setting the dog treats and all the different things that was going to be shoved in that table, and like inching them every time and taking a time lapse photo. Like,
Yep.
it was those key moments of getting the camera attached to uh the, what am I trying to say, uh
The gimbal?
damn it, the gimbal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
so
spent like
like
an
getting the
hour.
camera attached to the gimbal, like trying to figure out how to balance it, and then we had
Yes.
like you go out there like running her around, like just freaking filming her. And gosh, yeah, that was just such a fun moment. But that was a key time, a key moment in I think probably both of our lives, that sent you on a trajectory to like, hey, I'm gonna go do this thing, I'm gonna do it intentionally, and I'm going to build a career out of it. And you did just that, man. So it's an extremely proud moment for me too. I think at the end of the day, like, those are the moments that separate, you know, that make life fun, right? That make life very special, that you can refer back to, you know, when things maybe not, you know, aren't going your way.
Couldn't agree more. Do you think you'll ever leave corporate America or ever want to?
Yeah, you know, you and I have had this conversation a lot, right? I think it's a very deep topic. At the end of the day, man, I think leaving corporate America, it's something that's very scary for a lot of us. Uh, if it's the only thing we've ever known, um, since college, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, but if you think about these younger generations, and you think about these generations of creators and YouTubers and streamers, and you know, this like kind of entrepreneurship, this new age entrepreneurship that's been born, it's honestly kind of inspiring as a guy that's in his, you know, early 30s. Like, it's inspiring. However, do I think I will leave corporate America fully? I don't know if I will. And the reason I say that, until retirement, the reason I say that is because I just really enjoy it at this point. I enjoy the people that I meet on a regular basis. I enjoy the equity that my brand has, right? And the ability to move communities forward and to make an impact on communities. I think it's a very special thing. And my company's given me a lot in my life, that I'm so thankful for. And I'm loyal to the people within the organization, right? Like, I'm loyal to my friends and mentors and mentees that I've built over time. And so, you know, that answer right now is not until retirement, but you never know. There's things you unlock, and things that change throughout your life as you go through different life cycles. And right now, man, I'm extremely happy with what I do. My job's amazing, and it allows me to unlock other hobbies and pursue other hobbies outside of the, you know, I won't call it a 9 to 5 grind, because you know how it is, but, you
That's
know,
great.
outside of life, outside of work life.
Good answer, man. Good answer. As long as you're happy, that's all that matters. But as soon as you decide you're not, it's time to evaluate.
Yeah. I think, yeah, you're right. I mean, and you've shown that, right? You've shown that it's possible. You know, I also like a little bit of structure in my life too, right? It does provide me structure, and I
Mm-hmm.
think as a person, I think the best thing that you can do in life is gain perspective, and also be very aware of what you're good at and what you're not good at. And I strive in environments where I have a little bit of structure, but can also unleash my creativity. And man, I've just become
Mm-hmm.
very self-aware in that sense.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, the skills that that company has taught me is why I'm successful doing what I'm doing now. It's extremely,
Yeah.
extremely valuable. I mean, I tried to like equate the amount of training that they had given me, well over $100,000 worth of training, like over the course of 9 years, well over that. And that is what has opened the opportunity and confidence in starting a small business. And I just want to throw a plug in there. So the photo, like your realtor clearly, or whoever was selling the house used a professional photography company. But there are some major opportunities with those photos. And
Hey,
there's an opportunity that just proves in that market there is a big opportunity for someone to work as a freelance real estate photographer and videographer. And it could be a way for you to make some side money if you have the time to do it.
yeah, you got to have the capacity to do it, right? But
Right.
I agree. Yeah, but now I think there's also like if I was that's also the choice of the seller too, right? Like does the seller or does the real estate agent, like depending on who's making that decision, do they want to invest in the money to do that? It's 100% worth it. You're right. Like those photos, like luckily the house is so naturally beautiful. The photos have opportunity, right? Big opportunity. And I think there are some really good folks around here, but I think if you were looking at um, those photos, yeah, they could have done a lot better, I think. And that's another opportunity that I saw is you look and you're going to compare those photos and say in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whenever, if we let go of the house, like, damn right, I'm calling Travis Worley to make sure that I get the right photos. We know how that
Heck
worked out
yeah,
for the
dude.
Airbnb, right?
Yeah, man. I so like my one of the goals that I have long term is to have a subset of the company that just does shoots across the United States. So right now there's only a couple companies that will do this service. Basically, it's for ultra high-end listings. You know, typically it would be homes that are selling in high millions, right? And there's a dedicated team, there's only like two across the country that fly out and film and offer these packages to that type of property. And I think that would be so much fun. And I'm starting to make connections in this industry out here with people who are at the level of who's doing it right now. So I'm like close on having the team. Now it's how do I build the brand, because my brand right now is not targeted towards that service. And that's going to be kind of the evolution of the next few years for me, is figuring out, do I want to continue to be a solo entrepreneur because there are a lot of freedom and flexibility and the stress is mitigated to what I want to take on? Or do I want to expand and train and be able to offer what I'm doing to more people and add more value? I don't know, to be determined. But I'm excited to go
Yeah.
through it.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. I think what are you when you think about your past life, right? And I'm talking about your previous employer and like your professional work experience. What do you think if you were like mentoring somebody, or if you were thinking back, like what do you think of the things that were extremely helpful that you've extracted from corporate America and like just dealing in the business industry and taking it to what you're doing as an entrepreneur now?
Oh, great question. I would say first thing that comes to mind is understanding how to truly offer the best customer service, because it in this industry in real estate it is relationships first, products second. If you're able to maintain and build relationships quickly and have a high quality experience with your media, you're unmatched in this field, because it's typically full of creative types of individuals or business types, not someone who can do both. And there's I have so much gratitude for being able to learn how to do that at such a high level, that these little deals, they're not little deals. They're more significant than anything I've ever done, but they're not $1 million contracts. It's, you know, getting a photo shoot for a house. So the stress level for me, having worked on high level multiple $1 million deals, it has given me the confidence to be able to do anything in this field, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, dude, it makes perfect sense. I think it's it's interesting. What do you think, like, your stress levels in your previous life versus what they are now? Like, because I think stress is a funny topic. I really
Yeah.
do, Travis. I think stress is something that is sometimes necessary. And stress can show how much you care about something. And if you harness stress in the right way, I actually find stress to be more helpful than not. But obviously, stress can go the other way. What do you think that looks like for you now versus what it did maybe 5 years ago?
Yeah, it's now I have the opportunity and unique position to be able to decide when I want stress. Because before it was like there were a lot of external factors that would apply stress onto my life. Now it's, do I want to take on this new creative opportunity that I need to learn extensive research on and that's stressful, and do I want to put myself out there and meet new realtors and go to these networking events, and all of that is self-inflicted, so it feels different. I would say my stresses went from being stressful to being more excitement, and it's the same feeling but framed in a different way mentally because I'm
Yeah,
kind of dictating how that's happening. So that's been probably the big difference.
yeah. I feel like it's like because you're harnessing it, right? Like it's that positive stress. It's when you want that stress, like it's go time. It's what's going to push you a little bit harder.
Mm-hmm.
I think the big thing for you though, and this is kind of what I was kind of seeking to pull out, is like the stress is controlled. Where in my life right now, or my professional life and your old professional life, you might not own all the controllables. There are things that are way out of your control that kind of add this stress to, I want to do everything I can to make sure I get the situation solved, or move the business forward, etc. But like there are all these external factors holding back. In your life as an entrepreneur now, you dang near control almost every one of those variables, right?
Yes, but that also has a flip side. I control all the variables. So if I make
Yeah.
a mistake, I own all of the mistake, or I own all of whatever has happened. And it has, I think I'm unique in the sense that I can move past things and not beat myself up in a way that I would have in the past. And that was something that I think I learned in corporate America, is understanding there's more to it. You can move on from it and you don't need to relive it over and over in your mind like I had been in the past, because that almost made it even worse because you'd relive it when you fall asleep at night. And now it's giving yourself grace and understanding, I'm going to make a mistake, but what can I do next time to prevent that same mistake? But man, I wake up
Yeah.
so happy every day. It's totally different.
Yeah. I think when you think about like overthinking things and analyzing it things, right, we go through these stages in our life. Like, so if we think about it from like a an athlete standpoint, when we're like young athletes, baseball, basketball, whatever, you really don't think about like the mistakes you make on the field. Like it's almost like you do start to process them, you're coached against them when you're younger. But as you go into like your professional life or like your career in your mid 20s, there's a point in time, and I think it comes different for everybody, where we start over analyzing. Oh my gosh, did I have that professional conversation the right way? Hey, did I have that coaching conversation with this employee the right way? Did I say the right things? And then there becomes a time that again comes in it, could be in your early 30s, could be in your 40s, whatever, where it's like you learn to like say, okay, yeah, I did this. I could have probably been a little bit better here. Here's my feedback. Here's the feedback I got. Take it, internalize it, and move on, and not allow that to like seep in and sit on you over time. There's all these stages of life that we go through where we kind of learn to you know, embrace it or not let it eat at us. And some of us don't, right? Some of us never get past that.
Yeah. I think it helps too having a, I think the term is internal locus of control versus external locus of control, meaning I control my destiny, nobody else controls my destiny. Even though outside influence can impact what I'm doing, I control how I react to it and I control what I do moving forward. Whereas have worked with people who are so externally focused, like I didn't get that promotion because they didn't like me, or like it's all they. I didn't get this because of them. I didn't get the house that I wanted because they did something. I didn't get the girlfriend that I wanted or boyfriend that I wanted because they had an issue. Instead of being able to look internally and understand there are things that you can do, that I think having that mind shift early on in life has helped me live a happier life, because now I know if something bad happens to me, I have the capability and control to move out of that situation in a positive manner instead of letting the externals run my life.
Yeah. Yeah, no, dude, that's an incredible point. You know who comes to mind when you say that? And I know, like, polarizing figure. You take this guy. Some people love him, some people don't love him. But like when I think of like Gary Vaynerchuk, right? Like when you think of like Gary V, like the one thing that I do like idolize Gary V for is that he's taught a lot of people, like, who the fuck cares what that person thinks about you, right? Or how the like or how that you're the only person that matters, right? You and your significant other, your loved ones. Like, really, at the end of the day, it's you versus you. It doesn't matter what other
Mm-hmm.
people think, right? It's like, even you and I, like, creating this video, like, 2 people might watch it, 1,000 people might watch it. Like, ultimately, like, everybody has differing opinions, everybody has their own thought process, but like, who cares, right? Like, at the end of the day, like, it's you versus you. I don't know, man.
I have a
Doesn't matter
story
what
for
people
you.
think.
Yeah, I have a example of this in action. So I started my real estate photography business 2 years ago. The the first year on my own, I did not post on social media. I was internally, if I'm being completely honest, I was worried about putting myself out there and what the impacts might be. Fear of rejection, whatever you want to call it. I made a commitment in January of this year to completely shifting all of my mentality on putting myself out there and taking risks. And in the last 3 months, I started actively being engaging. I started reaching out to new creators in the space, independent creators. I started reaching out to opportunities that I would have never thought I was capable of attaining. And the crazy thing is that it has all been happening for me because I started to put myself out there. Yes, I've had people leave me on red, but I have also had people and have developed new friendships and learned things, and literally this week have the most insane opportunity to do what my life has been leading me to do. I am, because I put myself out there on social media and messaged people who I never expected to respond to me. Through that fate, I am going to Hawaii for 3 days and filming with a hotel and doing a luxury hotel experience and documenting it and filming it so that they can use it to advertise and get
No
people
way,
to
man.
stay there.
That's awesome.
Bro,
That's freaking sick.
I am on cloud fucking nine right now, because that, like, I want to travel the world and I want to do what I'm now getting the opportunity to go do. And this is only the beginning of what that potentially could lead to. And I'm investing all of my time and energy into making sure that I deliver at the highest effing level. So
Yeah.
that, one, this is a portfolio builder for me. The person who's actually taking me on the trip is someone who is new in my life, but is a very high, I'm trying to think of how to say this correctly. He's doing very well. He has like 1.5 million followers on Instagram. This is his project that he is letting me come film with him because his videographer backed out at the last minute. So it's like, because I happened to message this person at the right time and they needed someone, and when we went and got coffee, we got along. I now have this unique opportunity to go film this insane project.
Yeah, that's fucking insane. Like, there's a Waterboy quote. You know me, I'm a movie quote guy, but there's a Waterboy quote coming to mind, and it's actually at the end of the movie where it's because he didn't hold anything back, right? Like, but that's who you are as a person, right? I think you've always intentionally reached out to people, and like you will actually follow through with your action. And that's what makes you who you are today. It's why we're doing this. Like, this isn't a me thing.
Right.
This is, you set this up, right? But this is because you're so fucking good at that, Travis, and like you earned that, and the relationships that you build with people, that's why you're so successful with what you do and why you will continue to be successful. I think if there are like kids that end up scrolling across this, so like you are an ideal person to listen to and like to follow in the footsteps, because you follow through on your action. And I actually mean that. I'm not saying that because we're on the fucking camera, but like you
I
follow
appreciate it.
through with what you say you're going to do, and you're aggressive about it. You're like, I'm getting this done. And reaching out to people and just putting yourself out there because you didn't hold anything back, and look where you're at. And that's just the tippity top of the iceberg.
I'm telling you, man, there's something to it. It's like, it seems like the more I'm willing to give, the world is returning 2 times back. It's like I've heard people talk about that concept on, I think, like TED Talks or podcasts, and experience it in real life is unlike any feeling I have ever felt before. And I know that this is going to ebb and flow, and it's not always going to be like this extreme high. So I'm trying to level my expectations for the future. But the thought that you can post a video on social media, have someone comment on it who happens to be doing what you want to do with your life, and then messaging them and having them happen to have this crazy opening that fits with what I want to do is just like, how did that happen? I don't know, but I'm so grateful that I
It happened because you positioned yourself. And like it's, you can ask how, but there is a method to it. Now, viral videos and stuff, maybe I don't understand the algorithm there, but like the only reason it happened is because you had the ability to put yourself out there. You were confident. You got past a lot of these fears that maybe you had in the past, and like now
true,
you're rocking and rolling. I think,
so true.
you know, if I took anything from what you just said, though, and this is like, whether it's professional, whether it's creative, whether it's mentoring a young person or whatever, surrounding yourself with people that are better than you, right, or that have more experience than you, is so key in life. Because like this person you're going to Hawaii with, like, they have a ton of experience, have a ton of followers, they've been navigating this world for a little bit. I'm sure they have a ton of tips and tricks and skills that you don't have. You get a chance to go learn and see that
Yes.
you firsthand. And that's what you've done through the last 5 6 years. Like, think about your real estate videos now versus what you were even posting a year or two ago. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you've been picking up tips and tricks from other folks, whether that's from YouTube, rather that's from going to working with a person that's better than you. um, and here we are,
So
right?
true.
Like,
So true.
here we are.
Yeah, man. I think there's like what you said has been the most impactful thing I've ever done, and that is trying to continually get better and try to surround yourself with people who are positive, who want the best for you, and who have different skills. And yeah, I couldn't agree more, man.
Yeah,
So I was
I mean,
excited to share that with you. That was like my big thing.
yeah, that's so damn exciting, man. I think that's gonna be like, you're gonna crush that, and it's gonna lead to more experiences, man, which is the most important part.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I don't want to jinx it, so I'm not gonna. We can talk about it when I get back, and
Yeah,
you'll obviously see the content that we're posting live. But yeah, man, I got really emotional after I got that call and that opportunity, because it was like this pinnacle moment of, in January I made the objective decision to follow my true dreams, and I have the first step to figure that out. Because what I
yeah,
really want in life is to be able to travel the world with you and potentially one or two other creators and document what we're doing and add value to more people's lives. Don't know what that looks like yet, but that's kind of like my true dream in what I want the next 20 years to look like.
Yeah, I think you just keep stitching things together, right? And like that dream, like Travis, if we're being honest with each other, like that dream might change
Yeah.
in
Agreed.
5 years, right? As our life changes and how, the different variables that come in our lives. But like just keep stitching the positive things together, keep stitching the opportunities together, and then it's ultimately going to lead to your success in the long run. So like keep doing what you're doing, man. You're doing it the right way.
Thanks, brother. I'm immensely proud of you as well. You've come so far, and this is just gonna be a freaking schmooze fest now for the end of this video. But it's like
Yeah.
what you've come, like when we met in 2019, right? I think it was 2019, to where you
Yep.
are today. Totally different person in all the best ways. And
Yeah.
as you've gotten more opportunities to lead, I think you've picked up on a lot of really good qualities that have translated into your personal life. And it's been so cool to just see the evolution. And I'm excited that you and I are going to be doing this more frequently because it will give us an opportunity to stay closer and connected. And then when we do get to see each other in person, it's just going to be even more like we didn't skip a beat, you know?
Yeah, it's funny. The growth though, like, and I'm sure you feel this way too, but the growth doesn't come without a lot of hardship that's not seen externally, whether that's by your friends or by your peers at work or like even on this video. Like it comes with a lot of hardship. It comes with a lot of really tough moments, and like it's your ability to be resilient and respond to those moments in the right way. So you know, I think, yeah, again, it's stitch all the tough times together, learn from them, and continue to roll in all the positive opportunities. And you got to have the right people around you. I think we're probably saying a lot of the same things and a lot of the same commentary, but like you got to have the right man. I think in the last 5 years, I've just been really lucky with the people I've came across in my life, and like people that I had in my life previously that I've re-engaged with and like really continue to build, you know,
Mm-hmm.
build perspective, build good habits, build um, different different kinds of experiences, and like now it's all snowballing together. And I think that's part of being really lucky, man, with our opportunities, like where we were born, right? Who we've run into over the course of our life, like our
Yeah.
health and wellness. Like we're pretty lucky dudes at the end of the day, man. Like, and we've got the opportunity to get better. So
Man, I think you bring a fresh perspective. And
yeah,
that's probably the the reason why we get along so well is we have that same thought of like just surround yourself with people who bring you joy and good things will come. I love you, brother. I think this is a great first episode.